I don't know. I mean, it's going to take away from Complexity for them to catch up, I think, at this point. There's not a whole lot that's going in favor of a Bay Alliance. Complexity has just played this dungeon pretty much to perfection, and this is kind of the thing that we were talking about all weekend with a Bay Alliance. They're definitely like up there with the top echelon of the teams in the MDI, but the strategies they employ aren't going to be enough to knock off the top teams if the top teams play their strategies cleanly. They're always going to be those 30 seconds to a minute behind.
Yeah, and another thing someone in chat just mentioned, which I believe is something that Complexity thought of as well, is obviously the necrotic dagger, the necrotic wound, actually working on Hakar on that blood shield, right? So reducing that blood shield by 3 players is actually going to be a decently valuable, and that's another reason why they don't actually have to use that bloodlust there, right? Obey Alliance not running that, having to commit that bloodlust onto the boss to kill it quicker, it does make sense in this scenario, even if it's only for one boss, because I don't think a lot of these other mobs have any sort of healing. Well, they have healing, but it can be interrupted, right? You have the High Priest and the Hoodoo Hexers, but obviously those casts are going to be interrupted, so they're going to be too valuable for that. But yeah, now you can see Complexity that are on the last boss. Lip is... not sure what Lip is doing, actually.
I think he got stuck.
It looked like... Okay, so I think what happened was that there was an enraged spirit patrolling to the platform that he needed to go to, so he was trying to use Door of Shadows to get to a platform instead of using the port, because if you use the teleport, you get to a platform in a position that you cannot control, and then he maybe would have aggroed that enraged spirit. So I guess he was trying to use Door of Shadows instead, but it didn't work out.
Are they able to res him right now? Somebody has to go to his platform and res him before they all get gripped in for the boss phase. If they don't get the res off, they're going to have to do an entire phase of Muizala with 1 DPS down. Not only that, but they're going to have to go into a second intermission. And I was going to say this is the opening that Obey Alliance would need to get back into the game, but unfortunately on the other side, they've just had a full team wipe to phase 1 of Muizala. So I actually didn't see what was happening on their side of the screen because I was watching the Complexity side.
Oh, okay, so it looks like, oh no, both rogues of both of the teams making mistakes here, as it looked like Bu was trying to shadow step and he fell off. So they decided to just all jump down and reset. Yeah, that's very unfortunate, as Complexity now has to deal with all of this trash without Lip being alive.
Oh, Scott!
They do have
Scott's
the battle
down.
rest. Scott is down too. They do have a battle rest, but I'm not sure if they can get it off. JB used that bubble to make sure that he can maybe get the rest off, and Fired Up is sitting in this ice block, but it's gonna be hard to get it off. You see JB is trying, but as he's got this immunity off, but the boss is gonna be casting an AoE in just a second if no one's gonna be in melee range here. Thankfully, he's actually casting the dodge just now, and Fired Up, I think he got it off.
He got it off.
As he's blinked the last second as well. Yeah,
he got it.
Scott is alive now. They still have 2 rests, so can actually get Shakib up too. There we go. Shakib is now up as well, and they should be able to finish this. Wow, that was so good that they managed to actually recover from this, because this could have been a full team wipe any second late on that rest, and they could have wiped too, and then it would have been back to the Alliance.
I mean, the amount of things that had to go right for them there in order for that to, like, not result in a wipe. The boss started casting his combo where you have to dodge left, right, and back. And during that combo, he doesn't actually do melees or search for a melee target. So you don't have to worry about that AoE going off if you can't find a melee target. So they're actually able to get the res off on the tank. You can taunt and make sure the boss doesn't do any AoEs before he phases. Man, that's a combination of luck and player's skill, knowing that you can still live through mechanics and play it absolutely perfectly. And again, this is a huge example of the best teams being able to come back from scenarios that 90% of other players would have no idea how to save themselves in. That was like a masterclass on just fixing a situation that you should not be able to recover from. And because of that, they're able to take a very sloppy game 1 over Obey Alliance.
Oh my goodness. Complexity just almost throwing the game, coming back from having only 2 players alive, and still some of the trash was like just barely alive, but they managed to still cleave it down with whatever damage they had left remaining. Let the dots finish them off. and they are going to be taking game number 1, Tettles. And, you know, just like Zyro said, you know, the best teams are able to just avoid these wipes, the most terrible and terrifying situations somehow.
But the counter throw wasn't really that bad relative to the initial throw, because if you saw in real time, the rogue shadow stepped Moizala and just completely fell off the ledge. Then Obey Alliance was like, all right, we're not doing this as 4-man. We're just going to jump off the ledge right now and try to salvage it. And we hope that complexity wipes. Yeah. And their hopes were looking to be prophesized, but like Zyro was talking about, fired up, making some absolute massive moves there, getting the warlords, the cultists down, getting all of those reses out. JB even drops the Ashen Hollow.
I was about to
Hollow.
Yeah, I was about to ask. I'm like, how do they kill off those mobs? Because like, I didn't think that Frost's just passive damage would be enough to just finish those mobs off. But man, that Ashen difference was huge, actually. Wait, does he literally just take a melee attack? Fired Up's nuts. He just took a melee to the face and kept on rezzing on that one. What a beast. Dude, beast. I can't even begin to tell you like how many times that these teams are just so well focused, so well practiced. They just do their strategy and everything like that, and everybody does their part. You don't really see any sort of like individual just hero plays or tons of times where people are just adapting to the situation at hand. But like that right there is just nuts. It's just such a great testament to how skilled these players are. And you know, we've talked about it as well, Zyro, how important being an excellent raider has a strong impact on being an excellent MDI competitor.
I mean, I may be a little bit biased. He is my teammate after all.
Yeah, that's why I talked to you about it.
These are the kind of plays that, like, you know, people that are extremely in tune with what's going on in the game can make all the time. And it's not just the complexity players as well. This is the traits of players like the Echo players, the Perplex players. All of these guys can consistently make these plays to save pulls that you really feel like you should have no right to save. I mean, 2 players alive with trash alive on top of a boss. Come on. I mean, how are you supposed to get out of that scenario? But time and time again, the top end teams prove that they're good enough to kind of problem solve ways out of those really, really bad scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a little bit unfair that we're just giving Fired Up and JB and Scott all of this credit here and Jakib when it really was all about Lip.
Lip not getting to his platform in time because he was walled off by the enraged spirit and then dying to the demise by Moizala. It was so tragic.
That's just a tragedy.
Like, what are you supposed to do?
He's probably motivating them though on voice chat, right? He was motivating them. Like, you can do it, guys. You can do it.
Maybe Lip was the big brain making the calls to save them from to tell them what to do to life.
Yeah.
You never know, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was a team effort and it wasn't just Fired Up. Yeah, probably was.
Either way,